Hello there, good morning, and it's a brand new week and we welcome you to Breakfast News this Monday morning live on Channel 1 MTV. I'm Arundhati Fernando. Let's start off with a look at your headlines. Elections for 23 local government bodies which were postponed to be conducted before the end of the year. Election monitors say that the powers and functions of the Election Commissioner should be broadened. Indian President Pratibha Patel arrives in South Korea on an official visit. The government stated that the elections for 23 local government bodies which were postponed will be conducted before the end of the year. Secretary to the Ministry of Local Government Provincial Council, Dr. Nihal Jai Tilaka, stated that the date for this purpose will be determined by the Elections Commissioner. He added that the terms of these local government bodies have been extended until the 31st of December this year. The Secretary to the Ministry of Local Government and Provincial Councils went on to say that members for 299 local government bodies have already been elected under the second phase of the local government elections. Meanwhile, election monitors say that the powers and functions of the Election Commissioner that are limited by the 18th Amendment to the Constitution should be broadened. Executive Director of the Campaign for a Free and Fair Election, or CAFE, Kirti Tenekon, points out that only a few instructions, orders and circulars given out by the Elections Commissioner were carried out at the LG poll held on Saturday the 23rd. Meanwhile, the Executive Director of PAFREL, Rohana Hettiarachchi, stated that the country should establish a constitution where the Elections Commissioner is vested with more powers and functions. He also pointed out that this need to establish an independent Elections Commission. He noted the Elections Commissioner was not able to issue systematic orders in relation to state media during the recent election as well. News First spoke to General Secretary of the UPFA, Minister Susil Premjayantha, in this regard. He stated that while an Elections Commission can be set up through the 18th Amendment, the powers and functions given to a commission have been vested in the Elections Commissioner as well. He went on to say that no amendments to these powers and functions have been recommended so far. A unique procession was held in Negombo yesterday. The specialty of this procession was that it was conducted in the sea. This procession of fishing boats was held in the lagoon and coastal area of Negombo. The procession was organized to invoke the blessings of Our Lady known as Sindatri. The boat procession commenced in Duwa, Negombo, with a trawler carrying the statue of Our Lady leading the procession along the coastal belt of Negombo. According to our area correspondent, more than 1,000 fishing trawlers had gathered for this procession. On to news from the sporting arena. GJA Galhena of Sri Lanka Army established a new Sri Lankan record in the women's hammer throwing event at the 29th Annual Women's Athletics Championships.
The 29th Annual Women's Athletics Championships concluded yesterday at the Homagama Diagama Mahinda Rajapaksa Stadium. Incidentally, 2 Sri Lankan records and 5 tournament records were established. On day 1, LK Nimali of Sri Lanka Air Force established a new Sri Lankan record in the 3,000 meters hurdles event, clocking 10 minutes 31.24 seconds. Meanwhile, GJA Galhen of Sri Lanka Army established a new Sri Lankan record in the hammer throwing event with a 38.15 meter throw. Incidentally, Uttara Vijay Surya of Holy Family Convent Kalutara won the under-14 100 meters event, completing the race in 13.31 seconds. In the under-20 100 meters event, Pabasara Senanayak of St. Joseph's College, Kegal, registered victory. She finished the race in 12.44 seconds.
Also in sports news, Britain Mark Cavendish won the final stage in Paris, but Australia's Cadel Evans claimed the overall Tour de France victory yesterday. Cadel Evans became the first Australian to win the Tour de France after staying safe in the peloton in yesterday's final stage, won by Britain Mark Cavendish on the CAMS Elysees for the third year in a row. The 34-year-old Evans, the oldest Tour winner since World War II, showed resilience throughout as he broke three-times champion Alberto Contador's unbeaten run in the Grand Tour since 2007. Luxembourg's Andy Schleck was second overall for the third year in succession, 1 minute 34 seconds behind Evans, who claimed his maiden Grand Tour title. Frank Schleck was third, 2 minutes 30 seconds off the pace, as the two brothers climbed onto the final Tour de France podium for the first time. Evans' victory also broke Spanish domination of the race after Alberto Contador's 2007, Oscar Pereiro in 2006 and Carlos Sothra in 2008 had claimed 5 titles in a row. The Australian only took the overall leader's yellow jersey after Saturday's final time trial, in which he humbled Andy Schleck by 2 minutes 31 seconds, easily overcoming a 57-second deficit. Cavendish was also made to wait to finally claim the green jersey for the points classification after starting the day with a 15-point advantage over Spain's Jose Joaquin Rojas. He won the bunch sprint at the end of the 95-kilometer ride from Crittall after once again benefiting from his HTC High Road team's lead-out rain. The Briton beat Norway's Edvald Boasson-Hagen and German Andre Gippe, who was second and third respectively. French Pierre Roland claimed the white jersey for the best under-25 rider, while Spaniard Samuel Sanchez won the polka dot jersey for the best climber. Here's more sports news in brief on Sports Roundup.
Britain's Amir Khan knocked out Zab Judah in the 5th round to add the IBF junior welterweight title to his WBA super lightweight crown in Las Vegas on Saturday night. The end came with a body shot that crumpled American Judah to his knees. Judah complained afterwards that the punch was low, but replays showed that it was on the belt line and legal. Khan was dominant from the first bell, punishing Judah with stiff left jabs and solid straight right hands. Judah showed effective head movement for the first few rounds, meaning few of Khan's punches landed cleanly. However, the veteran threw very few punches in return, even as Khan pursued him relentlessly. Australians crowd the Champs Elysees to welcome the new Tour de France champion Cadel Evans. The fan tribunes on the Champs Elysees were a sea of red, white and blue for the final stage of the Tour de France yesterday. This year, alongside the French tricolour, was a sea of Australian flags and shirts as Aussies and their fans gathered to celebrate the new Tour de France champion Cadel Evans. Australians had come in from all over Europe to see their new hero and were joined by others living in France who had suddenly become cycling fans. Olympic and world champion Michael Phelps says that he is ready to compete again and will use the World Championships in Shanghai as a London 2012 test. Michael Phelps, who has won 14 Olympic gold medals, 22 World Championship titles and set numerous world records, said in Shanghai, China that his form is improving and that he is ready to compete again. In the build-up to the World Championships in Shanghai, Phelps has had to endure a disappointing 3 years since he carved his name into the Olympic records with a stunning 8 gold medal performance at Beijing.
Let's now take a look at today's currency exchange rates. it's a wrap for Breakfast News Live on Channel 1 MTV this Monday morning. Thank you for joining us. God bless and have a wonderful week ahead. We leave you with the company of Discover Sri Lanka.